Hello, I'm Rigel from Botani, and I'm very excited today to be sharing a conversation with you that I'm going to be having with Derio Coma, who is a chemist and microbiologist, and he works very closely with our founder Barbara in research and development for our products. But before we get started on our conversation, Derio, I just thought it'd be great for you to explain a little bit about your role and what exactly does a biochemist do in terms of the development of our products.
Thank you, Rigel. Well, I've been working as a technical consultant with Botani for some years now, and I oversee some of the testing and the testing standards that would apply to various products. So it's pretty much an advisory role, very much to do with microbiology and the chemistry of products.
Fantastic, thank you. I think that sort of puts your role into context for everyone. So what we're going to be talking about today is product testing and safety. So I just thought it would be great for our Botani followers to get a little bit more of an understanding of that side of our business and what it's all about. So can you tell us what measures do we have in place for testing the quality of Botani products?
Well, with Botani product development, we try and build quality into the products. Quality is one of those terms that's not readily understood by people. It's made up of many aspects, but in respect of Botani, we like to look at it from three perspectives. The first is that the first prerequisite for quality is to have quality ingredients that have been not only tested by the supplier but also certified by the supplier. The second prerequisite for Botani products is that we want to ensure hygienic manufacturing, but that has to be backed up with quality control tests, particularly batch testing of products on a batch by batch manufactured basis. The most important part of batch testing is to ensure that the products are bacteria free. And people don't realise that cosmetics can support the growth of bacteria, and therefore we want to ensure that the products are manufactured hygienically. The third prerequisite, of course, is to ensure that the formulation itself is well formulated, and there's a whole range of tests that are required to be done on the formulated product long before we put the product onto the market.
So there's quite a lot involved from conception to product going to market.
There's a long lead time and there's a lot of things to do in between, yes.
Yeah, and on the batch testing, is there an industry standard? Is that compulsory for all products on the market?
Well, batch testing is not written into regulations in Australia. In some jurisdictions, like in Europe, you are required to do batch testing. So every batch you make, you have to do certain types of quality control tests. So if you want to sell into certain jurisdictions, particularly Europe, you are required to do that, but that's not the case in Australia.
Right. And so, Derio, can you tell us a little bit about the different tests done on formulas during the product development phase?
Well, during product development, there are two critical types of or categories of tests that have to be done. They're more complicated than just a single test. They're made up of a series of tests. The first is a preservative test to ensure that the preservative is working. And the second is stability testing. And stability testing is really also made up of a whole series of tests. So it's not just a single test. And we can talk about that in a bit more detail once we go through the various types of tests that we're doing.
So what is a preservative test exactly?
Well, preservative test is essentially what it sounds like. It's a preservative test to ensure that the test tells us that the preservative is working. Now, one of the ways we do this is we take the product and we challenge it with bacteria, and we monitor that product for a period of time to see if the bacteria are dying off or are growing. If the product is well preserved, then the bacteria will die off over time, and that tells us that the preservative is working. What people don't realise is that all water-based products will support the growth of bacteria. So it's essential for safety that these products are preserved, and there's lots of approved preservatives, including a range of preservatives approved for organic and plant-based products. But the testing of them is essential, otherwise you can't be certain that they're actually working.
And what is the stability testing as well? How does that?
Well, stability testing is somewhat more complicated. It is a range of tests. We do things, for example, like we store the product, we monitor that product to see whether it changes colour, it changes odour, it changes viscosity and pH over time. If a product proves to be unstable, then the problem with that is that during that instability, when the product starts breaking down, it could potentially give customers allergies. And worse still, if a product does break down, it can, under some circumstances, allow bacteria to grow. And if bacteria grows, then that could potentially cause infections.
Yeah. So all these testing processes just ultimately end up to a better quality product and of benefit for the customer because their product's going to last longer.
That's correct. Yeah. It's essential that the formulation complies with good preservation principles and complies with stability. Stability is really about setting a use-by date. Cosmetics require use-by dates. Unfortunately, in Australia, there is no regulatory requirement for a product to have a use-by date on it. But again, in other jurisdictions, it's essential that a product has a use-by date. And I think products that contain organic ingredients and vegetable-based ingredients definitely need to be preserved because they are slightly more sensitive to spoilage than synthetic products.
So how do we ensure that our products are safe for our customers?
Well, one way of guaranteeing quality is to comply with all the principles of good manufacturing practice, and that involves ensuring that the formulation has been well formulated, that quality ingredients are used, that batch testing is undertaken, that the formulation has been subjected to preservative testing, stability testing. With all those things in place, that's our guarantee of the quality of products for Botani customers.
Fantastic. Thank you, Derio. I really hope that you found this information insightful, a little bit about our process and how we work here at Botani, and gives you a better understanding of the time and the effort and the development that goes into each and every one of our products. So until next time, we'll see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Derio.